What's up, beautiful nerds? So today we're going to be talking about, we're doing our first short story for our short story unit, and we're going to be reading Margaret Atwood's There Was Once. So I'm going to walk you through the instructions of what you're going to do. You're going to start this independently, and then we're going to do some group work after you've had some time to kind of sit with it, create some questions, run into some roadblocks, and see how that goes. So let's get started. So for your assignment, you're going to be reading this text. So I'm going to show you. So there was once. It's, you'll see the format. And what I want you to do is for your annotations, we're going to simplify them a little bit. I want you to highlight unknown words, put a question mark next to any confusing parts, and put an exclamation mark next to anything that really catches your eye. And we're going to discuss maybe why it catches your eye later. So I'm going to repeat that. Highlight or circle words you don't know, that look unfamiliar. If you're really feeling ambitious, identify them in the margins, define them. 2, put question marks next to places where you're like, I don't understand what's going on. And 3, put an exclamation point, cross anything that you're like, huh, that was cool. I don't know what it was. I don't know why, but there's something about it that just stands out to me. Could be a phrase, could be a section. Don't highlight the whole thing. That'd be crazy. But so simple annotations as we go. That way, when we get in there, the first thing we'll do is, okay, we're going to do words. What words did we not recognize? And then where were there questions? And so we'll start there, and then we'll get into kind of the more nitty gritty stuff. So read it. It's 2 pages short. So for example, this is a used copy. Yours will be blank, but circle it. You can mess with it, do whatever you need. And then what's going to happen is you're going to have time to do this on your own. So don't worry about the group leader part yet, because you're going to do that after the fact. After you've taken a single pass through this, then you're going to work with a group to kind of finesse and check your answers and make sure you understood this text, you can analyze it, and then you can talk about it. So we're going to use each other as a springboard to talk about text, because if you can talk about it, most likely you can write about it. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is, what stands out about the way this is written? Try to notice 3 things about its structure, its setup, its writing. So this is going to be things like sentence structure, tone, dialogue, just kind of, what do you notice? Like when you think about a short story, do you think about just a single dialogue between, 2-ish? There's a few other characters in here, but it's 2 main characters. What is it about that stands out to you? The second thing is describe the 2 main characters from the little information we get in the dialogue, and give characteristics of each. If you can give me up to 5, that would be amazing. But really look at, like, how would you describe the main character who's speaking, and how would you describe their kind of like adversary that they're having this discussion with? Okay. And then number 3, what is the outcome of the story? How does the story end? Is there an ending? So that's going to be a question that I want you to think about. And then 4, what would you say seems to be the point of the story? This one might be a little bit more difficult for you if you're not familiar with political correctness or certain trends in media or in literature or in culture, arts, and things like that. There's this push. Do things have to always be politically correct? Do they not? What's the stance here? And so we're going to discuss that. What are the 2 stances these characters are taking on this? And then finally, which concept, and I've put them in the further slides, would you connect this story with? Explain why. And so I broke down the 7 central concepts for you a little bit better here with some basic guiding questions. Does an author's identity or reader, you can go through those. So it's going to be identity, culture, creativity, communication, perspective, transformation, or representation. So choose one and explain, how do you think this story really kind of connects to this concept? So a concept, just to remind you, is just kind of this overarching idea. So if you think about Persepolis, there's a lot of different concepts in there that you could talk about, like identity, her identity as the girl who's at the center focus of the story. It's her childhood that she's telling. How much does that influence the way the text is interpreted? How much does that affect the way that we read it, because we know it's her? Or in culture, the way that the culture is represented in the story, and the difference between the culture of the people who are reading it. When people in the United States who are not familiar with Islam, sometimes they have these preconceived notions about women in hijabs. And so thinking about your home culture, how that might affect, whereas if you are a Muslim American, you don't probably think about these things. with the same lens. So think about how those lenses are different, because we want to cultivate an ability to empathize, to see from multiple different perspectives and not be constantly stuck in our own. Okay, so think about that. So which of these central concepts would you say applies to this story? And that's it. And then after you've completed this, we'll go into groups and you will talk to your people and compare dialogue, because one of the things we really need to work on is collaborating together, asking questions. And so make sure you definitely get to the words portion, okay? Make sure you're doing the words bit, okay? So that's it, and I'll see you guys soon. Love you, bye.